Alright guys, got a new tee available in the store, fademe.store. They don't boo nobodies, has a nice back design as well. Screw the haters, screw the guppies, they're talking about you for a reason. They don't boo nobodies. Fademe.store or GuyBostonSports.com/store. Take you to the same place.
All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Thursday, May 29th. We have just 5 MLB games to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games, so all 5. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. In terms of yesterday, it's going to be a few more red X's. I think, yeah, one more red X than there are green check marks. The Red Sox, Brewers first 500 does not come through. Spencer Horwitz, the under doesn't come through. Nationals, Marlins first 5 under 5 gets screwed in the 5th inning. That doesn't come through there. And then Jonathan India, man. That dude is my kryptonite. In terms of winners, we did have that Rays Twins first 500. Trey Sweeney cashed. And then also the Pirates and Diamondbacks first 500 as well. But you'll notice even a couple of those winners were some heavy price tags. So not exactly the best night yesterday. But you know what we could say? The ride of the day comes through. Pumping some crowd noise for Toxic. A plus money Cardinals money line play. We'll throw a cha-ching in there as well. The soundboard is getting some use today. You can see in the tracker here, where we track all of the ride of the days, that we now have someone on a little bit of a streak as Toxic has one going. So we can update the streak to 1, and looking forward to seeing what he throws out for day number 2. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you continue to win, we continue to ride with your plays. So we celebrated, we dropped some noise on the soundboard there. If you do lose, you get the shout out, but you got to face the womp womp on the soundboard as well. So looking forward to seeing what Toxic throws out there today. But guys, make sure you guys are throwing your plays out there, because even if we're not choosing you for the ride of the day, you're helping out a lot of people in the comments with some bangers of plays there. So let's go ahead and dive into this slate. Like I said, it's a small one. We got 5 games, 2 of which are part of a doubleheader. So we'll see what we can do and see what we can dig. But guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get rocking. We got game number 1 of the Phillies and the Braves here. Game number 1 has Chris Sanchez on the mound against Smith Shawver. I would say 2 good pitchers, but I believe we have some decent weather here in Philadelphia. Wind blowing to the shortest part of the ballpark, which would be that right field. Decent in terms of temperature. I think it's going to be around 70 degrees. So though we have 2 good pitchers, I could see a few runs scored here. This is a doubleheader. Don't know if I fully want to get behind it, but what I will say is the changeup is a massive pitch for Sanchez, right? And he's got a very good changeup, but this Atlanta team is number 1 in the league over the last 30 days in terms of hitting the changeup. You flip it over to the Smith Shawver side of things, fastball and splitter. Number 6 in terms of Philadelphia hitting the fastball. We talked about some of this yesterday. Number 1 in terms of hitting the splitter last 30 days in terms of runs above average. So I do think this is probably a spot in which we could see more runs than anticipated due to the pitching. And we have Zach Wheeler and Chris Sanchez on the back half of this doubleheader, right? So I think that they're going to want to try and get their runs in while they can. So I'm going to lean towards the Phillies here, just because I do trust them. They have the offense, as well as I guess we can go with a slight lean to the over. And actually, one thing to note, now these doubleheader lineups could get a little changed up because it is a doubleheader, but using our dashboard here, and I'll explain how to get access to the dashboard in just a second, but using the dashboard here, you'll see that Chris Sanchez, right? Really good against lefties, has some struggling numbers against righties. The whip 1.34, the FIP at 3.65. Average goes from 170 against lefties to 252 against righties. It looks like there's only a couple lefties here in the lineup today for Atlanta, so most of these guys are going to be righties. That doesn't seem like it's that great of a situation for him, right? But again, it's still a Atlanta lineup that doesn't hit lefties overall well. So if you like the under, I'm really not going to try and talk you off it. I just think there could be some runs today with the pitch mix and the weather. And you throw in the fact that, Chris Sanchez, who's been really good at home, actually has some struggling numbers against the right-handed side, which there's a lot of them in this Atlanta lineup. Moving on to game number 2 in this series, I think this is probably the same side. I would still lean Zach Wheeler and the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, Chris Sale now, this is a tongue twister. Obviously, incredible pitcher, right? And I feel like he's starting to find his groove. He didn't start the year off pitching like that phenomenally, but in his last few starts here, last 5 starts actually, so decent sample size for him finding his groove. 1.2 ERA, averaging almost 9 strikeouts per game, 1 walk per game. He's pitching into the 7th inning as well, so he's back, right? Like Chris Sale is doing what we kind of expect Chris Sale to do, but Zach Wheeler is, for somehow, some way, Zach Wheeler is still underrated in my book. People don't put him into like the top 5, top 3 of pitchers in the league, and he might be up there. I mean, if you look at his recent game logs, this guy has gone 7, 6, and 6 2/3 recently, right? What is that, 19 2/3 innings? 3 hits, 3 hits, 3 hits, 0 earned, 0 earned, 0 earned, 8 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts. The dude is phenomenal. So you have an absolute pitcher's duel here. I think in this one, I do like the idea of a first 5 under, just because of the pitchers, but I would still lean towards Philadelphia, and I think we're getting a pretty damn good price tag because Chris Sale is on the other side. Zach Wheeler has 305 plate appearances against the current Braves roster, 30% K rate, 3% walk rate, an average against of 206. I will say, usually this is one of my guys, Zach Wheeler, right? Usually when a normal pitcher has been pitching so well, I say they're due for some regression. So maybe I got to eat my own words here and say that Zach Wheeler may be due for some regression, but he's one of those guys that I don't necessarily think is a regression type. So I'm going to lean towards the Phillies as well as the first 5 under. I think both these pitchers can get the job done here. Obviously, 2 offenses that have some names in there, but the Braves offense still very inconsistent, and Philadelphia hopefully kind of comes back down to earth with Chris Sale on the other side. So that's probably what I'm looking at in this one. Getting access to our MLB dashboard is super, super simple. GuyBostonSports.com, right? You head over to the members area, which is right here. Click MLB dashboard. Now I'm logged in, so I'm going to see the dashboard updated here. You can open it up. You can zoom in. You can print it out. Pretty much has it does have each and every game broken out in a visual format, so you can make your decisions a little bit quicker and have more of an optimal research process. This pulls in like 7 or 8 websites, saving you and myself the time of bouncing back and forth and going through and finding a bunch of different nuggets, right? We have pitcher information with a bunch of different situations. We have pitch mix information. We have batting information in terms of overall versus the hand that they're seeing, whether they're on the road or home, them against certain pitch mix. And we even have player data here too, all the way down to the pitch over the last 30 days, and some bullpen data. So really, really cool stuff here within the dashboard, guys. If you are not logged in, so we'll set this to a non-logged in version, you'll see it says, hey, before you access the dashboard, you need a membership. The memberships are very, very simple. We have an all sports dashboard, which gets you the NBA and MLB dashboard right now. We have the NBA alone and the MLB alone, whichever one suits you the best. Guys, this is less than a Starbucks coffee, and you're paying it monthly, and it's a really, really good tool. Is this something that spits out a play? No, you're going to need to know what you're looking for and honestly kind of spend some time with the dashboard. You can't just take it home on the first date. So this has the information you need. It's about being able to identify it and whatnot. And we've done our best to color code it. Red is bad, green is good, helping kind of identify advantages and whatnot. So yeah, go ahead and check it out, GuyBostonSports.com, if you do want to become a member and get access to the dash. All right, Toronto taking on the Athletics. I'm not exactly sure what to do with this one in this spot. The A's are pitching Jacob Lopez, who has 5 games so far this year, 2 starts. His most recent start, he pitched 7 innings. The time before that, I think he opened, and then other than that, he's just been a reliever. So don't know exactly what we'll get out of him. So we should see. I think he struck out over his 7 innings, he struck out a lot of guys, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I mean, maybe he's got some talent and everything like that, which makes sense. But Jose Barrios is the other side of things, and he has been pitching fairly consistently. When I say consistently, I'm saying 6 innings, 2 or 3 earned runs, right? So nothing like too spectacular. I wouldn't use that word. But he is at home here. He is pretty good against righties. There's a lot of righties in this A's lineup, and the odds are kind of speaking for themselves, right? We have kind of a question mark on the athletic side of things. They go from playing their last series was in Houston, right? If I'm not mistaken, was it in Houston? And then they go and now travel to Toronto. But Toronto's going from Texas. They played yesterday to Toronto, so they traveled too. But I guess this is a Toronto spot. They're really heavily favored right now. Even that line, I think at -148, which you see on your screen, is long gone. I almost think -160 is like the best you can get. So I'll lean Toronto, but I don't think that I get there myself. Ultimately, that price is kind of just come and gone in a sense. The Athletics bullpen should be okay. Toronto's bullpen, I want to say, was used a little bit yesterday. Yeah, they have a few guys that pitch. So if you do like Toronto, maybe, just maybe, this is something you think about in the first 5. But again, it is Jose Barrios, and though he's consistent, he's kind of consistently giving you a couple runs earned through the first 5 and then 1 in the 6th. So, yeah, maybe the Athletics can hang here. But to me, it's not enough to get there, especially with the question mark on the pitcher side of things. So I'll lean Toronto in this spot. In terms of what we have from a total, this seems like it could be a spot in which, it's 4-4 and then 1 run in extras breaks the dam there. So I'm going to lean slightly to the over 8.5. But I think this could be more of a player prop-esque game, I guess. George Springer, he's going to see a pitch mix that he doesn't necessarily like, fastball, slider. So that could be something that we get behind. But again, kind of questionable with the pitcher on the mound based on his limited innings so far. He is better against righty bats, so that's great, right? Anthony Santander, another one that I kind of want to target. The fastball slider mix, that could be good. But do we really, really, really trust this pitcher? We shall see, guys. We may add a couple player props in this one, though. I think I can rationalize those a little bit more than I can the sides or total. All right, next game up, Houston taking on Tampa Bay. I think I like Houston in this one. I believe the pitching discrepancy is giving Tampa Bay, or giving Houston, I guess, good odds and giving them a little bit of weight on the Tampa Bay side of things, because you have Shane Baz going up against Ryan Gusto. Which, yeah, I would say Shane Baz is better than him, but Baz is, he had a bunch of bad starts in a row. Then he has one good game against Toronto, and we're just supposed to assume that he's back. Ryan Gusto really hasn't been, terrible. I mean, he's only given you probably, 4 or 5 innings, that type of thing, maximum, which, yeah, that isn't all that great. I get it, but sitting here looking at the bullpen, and it's I even think if they needed Hader or Abreu or even Dubin to go, Houston could rely on those guys if they do choose to need them. So the bullpen should be a wash. I think Houston has a way better offense than Tampa Bay, and that would kind of say that I think that it alleviates the pressure of, Ryan Gusto needing to go out there and be perfect. Tampa Bay's offense, I don't think is all that great. If you look at the recent games, yeah, they've put up some decent numbers, 13-7, 2-5. But Houston, on the other hand, has been pretty damn consistent, right? Their last 6 games, 9-3, 2-5, 11-5. So I do think that we could see some runs out of Houston today. If we don't like the idea of backing Ryan Gusto, maybe we just say Houston team total over. I hate to fade a guy like Shane Baz because I do think he's good, but he's going to throw a ton of fastballs, right? He really isn't getting the swing and miss. He's not getting the chase, and this Houston team is top 10 in the league in terms of hitting the fastball over the last 30 days. So it's tough for me to sit there and really think that he's going to go pitch a masterclass performance. So I'm going to lean slightly to the over in this one, as well as the Houston team total over, but I kind of like Houston there on the money line. The odds aren't all that bad, right? And again, I think that the bullpen and the starting pitcher, whether it's the name or the taxing, right, are kind of giving Houston good odds here, because had those not been advantages or slight advantages for Tampa Bay, we'd be looking at Houston -150 because of what I'd consider an offensive discrepancy. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm playing this one. Houston team total over, I guess, is what I ultimately would lean towards here. Hoping we don't see an absolute masterclass from Shane Baz, though. Obviously, that would be the case. But last time they saw him last year, he did go 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, but on 7 hits, and I think it was 2 or 3 walks with 2 home runs. Easily could have scored another run off of him there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, let's go out there and get 4, and then maybe we're a happy camper. Team total, I think I'm starting to talk myself into the most. All right, Seattle taking on Washington. Washington pulls out a 9-0 win yesterday, but in game 1 of the series, Seattle won 9-1. I would say the Seattle team is far better, especially at home here, than this Washington team. Washington just 12-16 on the road this year, whereas Seattle's won 54% of their games. The reason we're getting Seattle at some decent odds, which I do like Seattle on the money line, is because Mackenzie Gore is on the bump, who he's obviously a very, very good pitcher, a little bit more shaky away from home than he is at home. So I will say that. He's got a 1.67 whip and an average against of 310 and a walk rate of 9, away from home this year. So I think that is worth noting. Now, what I will say, Emerson Hancock on the other side of things is pitching, and that is really not a guy that I'm usually backing, but he's been serviceable, right? 6 innings, 3 earned against Houston. He played San Diego, 4 1/3, 4 2/3, something like that, 1 earned run. Prior to that, gets a little dicey with that 7-run game against the Yankees or 5 innings, but then before that, 6 innings, 2 earned, 6 innings, 3 earned. Like, if he goes 6 innings, 2 earned today, I think that'll be enough because I do think Seattle can score today. And the good thing is they still have Washington's bullpen. Washington's bullpen has been better as of late. I guess we can give them a little bit of credit, but it's not hard to be better than what you were, at the beginning of the year or full season when you look at the big sample size, right? So no kidding, they've been better. I think the Seattle team against the lefties should be good to go. Their numbers against lefties over the last 30 days have been really, really good. 9th in terms of average, 8th in terms of WRC+. They're walking the 6th most amount of times, 9th on base percentage, 11th in both OPS and ISO, and then slugging is 12th. So I like the idea of Seattle winning this one. But again, thank you to Emerson Hancock for being so bad in a sense because we're getting good odds. It's much like how we like Houston. I think those odds are a little bit more consumable because we don't have the starting pitching advantage, which, don't get me wrong, that is pretty damn massive. You know what I mean? To not have the starting pitching advantage in a baseball game, that means more than half your game supposedly is going to be less of an advantage, right? But I do think that the offense is way more talented on the Seattle side of things, and just given the pitch mix and stuff like that, I think that we could see Emerson Hancock at least hang in there with some mediocre pitching, and I think this could be a spot for Mackenzie Gore to not exactly deal. I mean, he's been pitching really, really, really well. He has some good numbers against the Seattle team, but ultimately they hit lefties well. They are at home, and the pitch mix even still there. I think that they could kind of do okay against him today. So Seattle on the money line. I don't expect this to be a very, very high-scoring game, but I still am going to lean over. I think that this is the type of game where 5-3 gets it done or something like that, and that's mostly because, again, Emerson Hancock on one side is pitching, but then the Washington bullpen, who I still do not trust as far as I can throw them, is still involved in this game. So an under, it seems like there's way more ways to get to an over here than there is unders due to the that bullpen for sure. But guys, short video today. That is going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, you know exactly what to do. Go ahead and like the video. Hit that subscribe button as well. Comment your favorite plays and your ride of the days, like I've said at the beginning of the video. And comment 17 if you made it this far into the video. Really do appreciate it. We've been having a decent MLB season, but like I always tell you guys, like, it's not always just 100% about the picks. If we go on a run and whatnot, sure, you guys are going to love that and all that, but what's important to me is showing up and making good videos and good content every single day, because I like to come at this from entertainment perspective, not just like a robot giving picks perspective. So really do appreciate all the love, and I feel like that's been reciprocated so far through this season. So that's the quick little rant. I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.